How's it going, you guys? Calico MMA here, aka the longest and latest MMA streamer on the entire platform, aka the greatest gap tooth on the entire internet. Today we are here, back again, or should I say for the first ever time making a video. I knew the day would come that I have to sit down here and I have to make a video for you guys. I have to plan out a topic. I'd have to sit down and actually think and composite notes and do some research for a video. And here we are. Today's the day. For anybody who's joined the channel via the live streams that we've done, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for coming to the channel. We've had a whole different sort of cast and crew, a range of characters that have come through, and I think we're over 30 subscribers now at this point. Big milestone hit already before our first video. I appreciate you guys so much. But today, we're going to be discussing a topic that has been a hot topic in our streams on the channel. Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley, the main event of UFC 292. Aljamain Sterling's second main event as a 135-pound champ, so that's honestly a pretty big deal. You don't often see the lower weight classes get to main event the pay-per-views. Aljamain Sterling has now done it back-to-back. Big deal for him, probably getting a good amount of money for him as well. This is a good fight. I'm very excited for this fight. I know the card has kind of taken an overall hit, and that's an absolute bummer, but this is still an amazing main event. You can't hate on it at all. But today we're going to be talking about the reasons why I personally believe that Sean O'Malley is an amazing underdog pick, the underdog pick of the year, and why he is going to upset and viciously KO Aljamain Sterling in the second round. Reason number one is the reason why everybody seems to be hating on this fight so much. Aljamain Sterling being forced to take this fight on less than 3 months really notice. Aljamain Sterling just had a very hard, very close split decision fight, very close split decision win against Henry Cejudo only in May. With that being said, Aljamain Sterling is a very big 135er. He's a borderline weight bully. He likes to bulk up. He likes to eat. He likes to get big. He likes to work out. He likes to bulk in general whenever he's not fighting, whenever he's in his camp. And this is something that he will not be able to do. He's going to be out of his element throughout his training camp. And to be honest, he's not even really getting a full training camp, I'm sure, for what he would like for a guy the level and the caliber of Sean O'Malley. Everybody seems to be hating on this. Everybody seems to be upset by this, but nobody is taking this information and relaying it into their pick. That is what we're going to do here today. We are taking this information, putting it into our pick, and that's why Sean O'Malley is going to KO Aljamain Sterling. Reason number one. Reason number two, Aljo is going to be constantly looking for the takedown in this fight. He's going to constantly be looking to close distance on one of the rangiest and craftiest strikers in the entire UFC. He's going to have to close distance to get his hands on Sean. Very tough to do. Sean is very fast with the hands, very fast with the combinations, and honestly, he's dynamic with the striking whenever it comes to the knees up the middle. It comes to the very fast spinning wheel kicks. Aljamain Sterling is going to have a really hard time trying to close distance on Sean O'Malley. And in general, he's going to have a hard time getting this fight to the ground. Everybody thinks he's going to go out there and Khabib Nurmagomedov his way, going to double leg, get this fight to the ground, no problem, lay on top of Sean O'Malley, turn him over and get his back and choke him out easily. That is not what's going to happen. Whenever you are constantly getting in these awkward exchanges, you're constantly looking to get closer to your opponent, Sean is going to knock you out. He's going to tag you. He can hit you with flying knees, spinning wheel kicks, and when you're constantly in awkward exchanges with a guy like Sean over the course of 25 minutes, I'm honestly going to bet that he's finding your chin. Reason number three. Aljo will not finish Sean O'Malley on the ground. He will not finish him. He will get him to the ground. He will take him there. He will lay on him there. He will look to finish him desperately, but he will not finish him in this fight on the ground. It's not happening. Everybody said the same exact thing about Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev. If Islam gets Volkanovski to the ground, it's over. Volkanovski will have nothing for him. If he gets mount, Islam is going to punch him out, TKO him. If he gets his back, Islam's going to sink in the choke, put the fucking hooks in, and choke him out. That's not at all what we saw happen. Islam was not able to finish Volkanovski despite having him in very dangerous positions, having his back, getting mount, taking him down multiple times throughout that fight. Not once did we see, honestly, Volkanovski really even in danger of getting finished in that fight. That short-term training, grappling training with a guy like Craig Jones can be the all the difference in the world. Same thing we see with Alex Poatan Pereira and Glover Teixeira. We were all worried that his grappling was going to be not enough. Not necessarily against a guy like Israel Adesanya. I'm talking about the Jan Blachowicz fight. We all thought that Jan Blachowicz, in Alex Pereira's debut at light heavyweight, was going to go out there, take Alex down. He was going to take his back, choke him out, flatten him out, and get him out of there in the first round with his grappling veteran advantage. That's not at all what we saw happen. Similar to Volkanovski being put in dangerous positions against the experienced grappler in Islam, we saw Alex, the kickboxing champion, get put into dangerous positions against the very experienced veteran grappler in Jan Blachowicz. And not once did we see him, honestly, even in all that much danger. Of course he's in danger with Jan riding on his back, has him in the most dangerous position, but we never saw him get both hooks in. We never saw him get under the neck. Alex the entire time seemed very, very composed, seemed very poised. I'm not saying that these guys, Volkanovski, Alex, are going to go out there and they're going to be ragdolling their opponents. They're going to be finding submissions, taking the back, sinking in chokes, be jiu-jitsu specialist practitioners at all. But they are going to be defensively sound and defensively aware enough to not give up their back, and even if they do, not get choked out in the first and second round. Same exact thing we're going to see here with Sean O'Malley. Do you realize how much money Sean O'Malley has? Do you realize how much money Sean O'Malley is worth to the UFC, to himself, to all of his sponsors and his brands? Sean O'Malley has been relentlessly training his grappling, and especially his grappling defense, his submission IQ. All of these things we're going to see on full display. Aljo will get Sean O'Malley to the ground. He will not be able to finish him. He will not be able to turn him over. And Sean O'Malley will know full and damn well that if he can just survive the end of that round, the fight will start back on the feet at the next round, and he's going to take full advantage when it does. Moving on to the next point. Everybody likes to say that Aljamain Sterling is the nightmare matchup for Sean O'Malley. That couldn't be any more wrong. He absolutely is not. Just because you're a grappler fighting a striker doesn't mean you're a nightmare matchup. Not always. It depends on what kind of striker you are and what kind of grappler you are. If you are a striker like Justin Gaethje, who goes out and relies on his... I know Justin Gaethje obviously just went out and had an amazing head kick knockout over Dustin Poirier, but Justin Gaethje is a guy who mainly relies on his staying stiff, staying boxy, relies on his hands very much so, does not rely on his knees, does not rely on his spinning kicks, does not have a whole arsenal of attacks, a whole wheelhouse. He does not have a bag of striking like Sean O'Malley does. Those guys are much more susceptible, and they are much more nightmare matchups for guys like Aljamain Sterling. But when you're a striker like Sean O'Malley, who has knees up the middle, lightning fast knees, dynamic knees, lightning fast head kicks, dynamic head kicks, spinning attacks, strikers with those in their arsenal are much more dangerous against grapplers who are looking to close distance and take the fight to the ground. Those strikes, the knees, the kicks, the elbows, those are the strikes that catch you while you're trying to go for takedowns. The punches are where you duck under to get takedowns. Sean O'Malley does not only rely on his punches. Sean O'Malley is a complete 100% dynamic striker. That being said, I understand that Aljamain Sterling is a dynamic wrestler, but I'm not going to constantly keep going back to the point of how hard it's going to be for Aljamain Sterling to close distance on Sean O'Malley, but it is going to be extremely difficult for him to avoid the kicks, the knees, the elbows, not just the punches of Sean O'Malley. He is one of the craftiest strikers in the entire UFC. If you want to talk about a real nightmare matchup for Sean O'Malley, that would be Merab. Somebody who has an iron chin, somebody who 100% cardio, never stops pushing forward, doesn't care about your knees up the middle, doesn't care about your elbows because he has a fucking Giga Chad chin. He's going to take you down relentlessly over and over again. That is the nightmare matchup for Sean O'Malley. To conclude here, you guys, this is a bad matchup for Aljamain Sterling. Personally, in my opinion, Aljamain Sterling is chinny, he's awkward on the feet, and he is not some amazing takedown artist who's going to get you down every single time he wants to. Every time he looks for the double leg, it's there for him. That's not Aljamain Sterling. He's a slick jiu-jitsu practitioner who on the ground is very slick at sinking in submissions, but he's not amazing at getting the fight to the ground at will whenever he wants to. I think that this is a good matchup for Sean O'Malley. I don't think there's any chance that we see Sean O'Malley win a decision here. If he's going to take this fight to decision, he's going to lose the fight. This is going to be a fight where if Aljamain Sterling is able to survive and not get his chin cracked at any point, I think we'll see Aljo take the fight down. I think we'll see him lay in top position, Really, I think that this fight is going to be Aljamain Sterling winning it until he's not. Aljamain Sterling will be winning the grappling. He will be able to push O'Malley up against the cage if he needs to. But eventually, whenever he goes to close that distance, Sean is going to land that combination that will put him out. It will be interesting to see, though. If it puts him down, will Sean follow him to the ground? Will Sean follow Aljamain Sterling to the ground if he puts him down? That's going to be one of the best things to see about this fight. Sean will be the 135-pound champion by the morning of August 20th. And to be completely honest, you guys, we may see him pull a Conor McGregor. We may see him fucking hold this division up. He may not even defend against Merab. It's going to be really tough to see if he does. But I think it's more likely that we see him fight Chito Vera. If Chito Vera is able to get that win against Pedro Munoz. Honestly, Sean may be just setting himself up to fight one of these guys, to be completely honest with you. Get back against Pedro. That fight didn't really go the way that you wanted to, and Pedro's on a good little win streak now, upsetting Chris Gutierrez. If he can upset Chito Vera, that's a huge win. Maybe you could argue gets him a title shot. I think you can argue that Chito does not deserve a title shot at all if he beats Pedro. I think that's likely to happen now. I think one of those two guys, Sean's going to try to call him out and have be his first defense after he puts Aljamain Sterling out. Thank you guys so much for watching my first video. Seriously, I appreciate it so much. We're going to be streaming all week, every single night. The latest streamer on YouTube. We go all night. We go into the fucking witching hour talking about all things MMA. All things MMA. All things combat sports, to be completely honest with you. And today we have a Dana White Contender Series. We will be doing a companion for that and streaming well long after. Thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.